and we're live. The crimes are real and stay with us. Together, we can solve them.
Arson and the mother who died to save her children.
The have-a-go copper who risked his life to catch a robber. The great granny who fought back.
I said to him, if you touch me again, I'll bite you.
And the violent thief who's known as Ugly Mug.
First, the attack on 2 women at a snooker club. You may have heard about this in the news. Anne Cypher, a mother of 3, was killed, and a member of the club, Amanda Clark, is critically ill. Players is a smart and friendly members-only club in Wandsworth High Street in London. It's opposite the Town Hall and the Palace Theatre on the South Circular Road, which is busy right through the night. Players is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And last Saturday, Anne Cypher agreed to step in for a colleague, the club's general manager, Suzette Lynch.
She had a full-time job working for a charity and was just helping me out, really, covering a couple of shifts while I was away. So it wasn't that we had a sort of working relationship. She was my best friend.
On Saturday night and Sunday morning, some 30 members visited the club, and we need to hear from all of them. Sometime around 7 a.m. on Sunday morning, Anne was there with Amanda Clark when someone, or maybe more than one person, went berserk. The club was wrecked, Anne was battered to death, and Amanda is still in a coma and in critical condition. Robert Allain was at the club that night and was later found at a friend's home, dead. It looks like suicide, and it's very likely he was involved in the attack. But did he act alone? We need to find anyone who saw Robert Allain at any time over last weekend.
She was a warm-hearted, articulate, funny, generous, nice human being. It's unbelievable. Totally senseless waste of a very precious life.
David, just before we came on air tonight, you got some new information on this.
That's correct, yes. We've been told that it's possible that Amanda Clark, our second victim, was seen in the High Street in Wandsworth at about 7:30 to 8 o'clock in the morning, which means she must have left the snooker hall, perhaps to buy a newspaper, and then returned to the snooker hall afterwards. There is a newspaper in the premises which would indicate that possibility.
So what do we think happened then? That she came out and that Anne had already been attacked?
I don't think that she would have left after Anne had been attacked. I think there is a possibility Anne was attacked by somebody in the snooker hall and that Amanda has returned and discovered the attacker on the premises.
And it was a particularly vicious attack. We haven't gone into any details in the film, but it was very, very nasty. We are talking about Robert Allain in the film. What are we saying about him here? He is your prime suspect?
That's correct, yes. I believe the main weapon used was a stool on the premises.
A bar stool?
A bar stool. We believe that Robert Allain was on the premises, having arrived just after 4 o'clock in the morning. He left for a brief while and then returned. When he arrived at 4 o'clock, 2 other men arrived at the same time. One of them arrived with him, and we have interviewed that person. The other man arrived at the same time, and members of staff may have thought that they had all arrived together. This other man, having arrived, we can't account for him leaving.
And what can you tell us about him? Because you want more information about him, don't you?
It's very, very important that this person comes forward in order to be eliminated. He's a black man, he wears glasses, he's about 5'10", and round about 34 years old.
And you also want information about Robert Allain's movements, don't you? About
Absolutely. We can account for his movements on and off between 4 in the morning and 5:30, but we can't account for his movements between 5:30 in the morning and 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. It's very important that we trace those movements, and anybody who may have seen him or can assist us with his state of mind.
OK, we also want to hear from people who were at the club that night, or perhaps you went to the club and you tried to get in between 5 and 9 in the morning. Maybe you did get in, maybe you saw something. No matter how insignificant, even if you were just there at any point that night, please give us a call. The number's 020 7232 7661.
The arson next, and what's especially upsetting is that many in the community simply won't speak out. It happened in Coventry 2 weeks after Christmas.
At the beginning of the year, when our children start nursery, we like to do some handprints with the parents and children. Nazreen was really happy to have a go at it all. She encouraged Zareen to do some handprints with her. They had a very close relationship. Zareen was always very happy to see her mum. When her mum would arrive at the door, Zareen would tell her what her day's been like, and Nazreen would come down to her level and listen to what she's done and ask her questions about her day.
Nazreen Akhtar had a baby daughter too, Aisha, and they lived in Fosal, centre of the Asian community in Coventry. In early January, Nazreen's husband, Mohammed Tareen, was at a family wedding in Pakistan. On a Monday evening in January, 4 white men were seen by the corner shop near Nazreen's house in Queen Mary's Road, and 2 went to the house itself, number 137. Who were they? The man with the baseball logo on his cap was spotty, especially on his chin, and had dark hair with bushy eyebrows. The next night, Tuesday at around midnight, number 137 had visitors again.
This is the room where the fire was lit. Within 5 seconds of the fire being lit, the whole room would have been a raging inferno. It was just a total ball of fire, flames out the windows, flames out the doors. The burning settees would have produced huge quantities of thick black smoke, which would have filled the whole house within about 30 seconds, to the extent that you couldn't see a hand in front of your face. The smoke would have been that thick. The smoke went straight up the stairs and filled the whole of the upstairs very quickly. Nazreen couldn't escape through the front living room because that was a raging inferno. So she's come through the dining room towards the back kitchen. And you can see the sort of heat that there was in the room when you look at the blistering of the paint. That's blow lamp type temperature. And the fire was actually nowhere near this door frame. It was 15 feet away in the front room. Nazreen was trying to escape from that fire, and she came in through the kitchen. And you can see from the level of damage to the accessories in the kitchen and the level of smoke that's on the walls and the ceiling, just how fierce this fire was. Nazreen was carrying the children through to the back of the house towards the back door, but tragically that back door was locked. When the fire crews found Nazreen, she was on the floor of the bathroom together with the children, and all 3 were unconscious.
Mother and daughters were brought outside as paramedics struggled to revive them. They all survived the journey to intensive care, and eventually the 2 little girls were brought round. But nothing could save Nazreen.
Nazreen died as a direct result of fighting to save her children in the most appalling conditions that one can imagine. She fought her way down the stairs, carrying both children, working extremely hard, and while she was doing this, she was inhaling a lot of hot gases and a lot of toxic smoke, and that's what caused the injuries which finally killed her. In my opinion, she was an extremely brave woman.
When Zareen comes into nursery and hears other children call out "Mum," she gets quite confused, and she will ask, has their mum not died? She feels that every mum has died. She'll question it all the time. Where's my mum? Are you my mum? She's always looking for her mum.
Ian, what on earth was the motive?
Nick, there is no clear motive for this murder. The fact is, it was a horrific murder that took the life of Nazreen, left her 2 children without a mother, and so I need to directly appeal to the community locally who knew the family to come forward and give us any information they may have. I'm particularly interested to speak to Muslim women within the community who may feel slightly inhibited to come forward and speak to us.
Now, Mohammed Sawa, you're a community leader in the area. What do you want people in the community to do?
I would like to directly appeal to all Asian community leaders, elders and male members of households in Coventry to ask their mothers, sisters, daughters and other female members of the household to see if they know anything at all regarding this terrible tragedy. Obviously, I'm very concerned that if the people responsible for this crime are not caught, then they could strike again. Therefore, I would like to urge the community to come forward, even as a family unit if necessary, and assist the police with their inquiries. Whatever information they have, however insignificant or minute it may be, it could be vital and missing part of the jigsaw puzzle that the police are looking for, and it could help the police solve the crime.
English may be the second language, of course, for many people.
That's right. Can I say a few words in Urdu?
Yeah, please.
लिहाजा कॉमेंट्री की एशियाई कम्युनिटी से और खुसूसी तौर फौजल की एशियाई ख़वातीन से परज़ोर अपील की जाती है कि वो आगे आएँ और कॉमेंट्री पुलिस से पूरा तावन करें. Obviously, Coventry Police have set up a confidential telephone hotline for Urdu and Punjabi speakers, and I would urge the community to telephone and help the police solve this crime.
Ian, people have tried help. We have had quite a bit of information.
Yes, some people have come forward. We have had an anonymous letter that's come into the incident room at Coventry. I would desperately like to speak to the person who sent us that letter and assure them that whatever information they have to give us will be treated sensitively and as confidentially as we possibly can.
OK, well, if you can shed any light on the motive, if you know anything about the family, if you've heard any sort of rumours, or if you can help eliminate any of those white men, or indeed place them into the frame, please call us here in the incident room. 02476 539 160 is the local number for English speaking, or if you speak Punjabi or Urdu, call 02476 539 043. Please do it for Nazreen.
Sinead Healy left a friend's flat. She walked the 5-minute journey home and then she vanished. It took 5 months before her body was found in a lay-by. There's just a chance that someone watching right now could hold the key to who killed her. Sinead was 26, a controller for a minicab firm in London. On Wednesday evening last October, she went for a drink in the Salisbury Tavern in Fulham with 2 friends, Simon Talbot and Kenneth Lynch. At around 10 p.m. they left the pub and Sinead went back to Kenneth's flat. Sometime later she returned home to her flat in Glidden Road. It's no more than a 5-minute walk. Do you remember her walking near Barons Court Tube? Sinead was distinctive, petite, red-headed and in a silver puffer jacket. And was she alone? It was the night of the London derby between Fulham and Crystal Palace. At around 1:15 in the morning, neighbours heard banging sounds from her flat. And at around 4 a.m, the sound of something heavy being bumped down the stairs. 2 dustbins also went missing from outside her flat. Did you see anyone moving dustbins in Glidden Road? Sinead's body was found in this lay-by just off the A40 at Beaconsfield. It's a busy road, so did you see anything suspicious here last October? Patricia, Sinead was your sister. Tell me a little bit about what she was like.
She was a happy girl, full of fun, great to be with. She was a good sister, you know. She was my only sister. She was just a very nice person, caring, loved children.
And you only knew when she was missing. She was missing for about 5 months in the end.
She was missing for 6 months.
6 months, because she was due to come. Family.
Our brother's ceremony was on the 24th of October. He was dead 9 years, and she didn't turn up. Made no contact, and we're very close. You know, she adored her brother. We adored each other. So for her not to turn up, there was something seriously wrong. We knew that something had happened to her. But in our wildest dreams, we didn't expect this to happen. In our wildest dreams.
And information you want to know?
Anybody who knows anything, no matter how insignificant they might think it is, please, please, please contact the police, tell somebody, because it's very, very important that we get these people that done this to Sinead. We have to live with this for the rest of our lives. It's just unreal, unreal. Just to see her in those films, you know, alive and laughing. It's just nobody knows how it feels.
Jim, we've got to help. What can Crimewatch viewers do to help?
I've appealed to anyone that saw anything suspicious in Glidden Road, Barons Court, Hammersmith, on the evening of the 18th of October last year through to the early hours of the 19th of October last year to come forward. Equally, anybody that saw anything suspicious on the A40 between the new A40 and where the old A40 is, between the two roundabouts, just outside Beaconsfield, to come forward.
And there's a particular car you're interested in?
There is. There's a dark-coloured 4x4 motor vehicle that was seen at that location, the location where Sinead's body was found, around that time. We're anxious, if you were the driver of that vehicle, to come forward so we can eliminate you, or equally, if you know who was driving that vehicle and it was seen in suspicious circumstances, please ring us and give us a name.
Now, strangely, some items of clothing were taken, like when Sinead went missing, like her bathrobe, a white bathrobe with tartan piping, her mobile, her keys. What else?
There was a pair of ladies' Nike trainers, which are quite unique in as much that they're white, and the heel of them can be forced down so that you can wear them as a sandal or as an ordinary trainer. We've not found these items. You may have seen them. We're also interested in the 2 dustbins that were outside Sinead's flat but that were missing the following morning. If you've seen them, if you know where they are, please ring us. Okay. I'm confident there's somebody out there that can help us.
All right, Jim and Patricia. Patricia, thanks very much for coming in. If you know anything, you've got to help. The number is 0500 600 600, or you can call 020 7321 9251. Please give us a call.
Often it's the smallest clue that cracks the mystery. In April 1999, we appealed to find Gary Warner. He'd stolen thousands of pounds worth of cash and jewellery from homes in the north of England. A call to the Crimewatch studio told police he'd gone abroad and he was extradited from New Zealand. 3 weeks ago, he was sent down for 9.5 years. And the Metropolitan Police want to thank viewers for calls on Daniel Collins, seen here on Crimewatch in October 1999. He was wanted for killing Beja Levica, who was found strangled at his house in Feltham in Middlesex. By coincidence, he was arrested for shoplifting, and in March was sentenced to life for murder. In June last year, we asked about this man. He was stealing cash and goods from businesses in London by pretending to be a heating or air conditioning engineer. A viewer rang to say his name was Joe and gave the name of his local pub. Police then discovered his surname, Anderson, and that he was working with his son, Lee. Joe Anderson has been sentenced to 4 years and Lee to 15 months. Now, if you're a kid, making a 999 call as a practical joke might seem like a bit of a prank, but hoax calls mean fire engines or ambulances are diverted from real emergencies and people's lives are put at risk. In fact, people have been killed because of it. Now, listen to this boy from Cockerton in Darlington. He's saying that his sister is trapped in her bedroom by a fire.
Fire rescue.
My sister's stuck in a bedroom. Can you come quickly?
Your sister's stuck where?
In a bedroom.
What's your address?
What's my address? Superdale Avenue.
Superdale Avenue?
Yes.
And the house is on fire and your sister's inside?
My sister's stuck in a bedroom.
Right, OK, we'll be straight there.
Right.
Thanks, sir, bye.
Bye.
Now, he's done that several times. Each time it's been a false alarm. Alan Ray and the fire brigade are very worried, but you've now narrowed this down pretty well, haven't you?
Yes, we know for a fact that the calls are coming from the same call box in Stupidale Avenue, and we think that it could well be that he may not just simply live there, it could be he's visiting friends, in which case he's so confident, I think he would have shared his actions with his friends and told them what he's up to, or it may well be just bragged to all in the neighbourhood.
But the thing is, of course, it's like crying wolf. You can't say, OK, we're not going to attend, you still have to attend. That's why you've got to find this guy.
That's right. Every call is exactly we class as genuine.
And his parents must recognise his voice, surely.
I would have thought so. The friends must have recognised his voice as well. The sooner they give us a ring, the better.
OK, well, let's have a listen to it again.
Fire rescue.
My sister's stuck in a bedroom. Can you come quickly?
Your sister's stuck where?
In a bedroom.
What's your address?
What's right at Superdale Avenue?
Superdale Avenue?
Yes.
And the house is on fire and your sister's inside?
My sister's stuck in a bedroom.
Right, OK, we'll be straight there.
Right.
Thanks, sir, bye.
Bye.
Come on, please, tell us who he is. 0500 600 600 or 0191 384 3381.
Henley-on-Thames in Oxfordshire enjoys one of the lowest violent crime rates in the country. And 2 weeks before Christmas, a Sunday evening, it was quiet as usual.
I'm just going to take these bundles out the back. If you could give that a tidy up and close it down, all right? OK.
Hey! Where's the keys to the safe? I haven't got them. I'll kill you! I need to keep them! I'll cut you right open! I haven't got them. The manager keeps them! Give us them! Try this. Where's the rest of the money?
There isn't anyone there.
The rest of the money! I told you, that's it! No more the manager. It's locked. Put the safe in now! It's locked away! You're lying. I'm going to cut
I haven't got the keys, I swear! I swear to you!
I haven't got the key! What's in there? Hurry up.
Any unit, Henley Town Centre, immediate commitment, personnel attack alarm, one stop, news agents, Grays Road, Henley.
Mike Hotel 73, show us en route, please.
In my police career, we've been to loads and loads of these alarms, and generally they're all set off accidentally or builders.
With the front door locked, the assistant was desperate to get help. The alarm she'd set off was silent. It only rang to the police. So she tried to attract people at the fish and chip shop opposite.
We pulled up outside the railings and I saw the lady in the front door window. I still was uncertain whether she was waving us away or whether there was an incident taking place.
Still here, they're in the back.
Cover this door. We've got a fender still inside the shop.
OK.
Shut up!
You've got a split second to start reacting. My immediate thought was to at least try and get hold of one of them. We were both running full pelt down the centre of the road, and it was at that point that I sort of launched myself at him. I can remember the first blow coming in, and I thought, well, that's not too bad. And the second blow came in, and after that, I can't really remember much.
Come on!
I can remember hearing a car start up. I thought, Christ, they're going to run me over now.
But the car sped off in the opposite direction, towards Blandy Road.
I would do it all over again, without a question. Public expect it of you. I mean, who else have they got to rely on?
Well, as you can tell, PC Ian Roy is a modest hero. But the attack left him partially paralysed for a time and he still has some memory loss. The descriptions aren't the best, but there were 3 men, probably in their 20s. 2 were tall, over 6 foot, we think. 1 was unusually short. Their car was a maroon or rust-coloured Vauxhall Carlton. What have you heard on the grapevine? Call here or 01491 843 830.
It's been surprisingly and unusually quiet here tonight. A far lower volume of calls than we normally have. But there are some quite interesting ones coming on the Sinead Healy murder. In particular, a possible sighting of a car. If you remember, we were looking for a 4x4 at the lay-by near her where her body was found. Several other interesting calls are coming in. On the Coventry arson, I've got a call here from... well, it's from a woman who hasn't given her name, but it's quite interesting, and certainly that's going to be pursued fairly quickly. And on the Wandsworth murder, that's the 2 women who were battered, one of whom has died at the snooker hall attack. There we've got quite an interesting name given, which is going to be checked out straight away. If you want to call, Well, there are phone lines open now with BBC staff, with 30 detectives taking calls. And here are our resident police officers, CID Chief Jeremy Payne, and from the National Crime Faculty, which is a bit similar to the FBI. Here's Jackie Hames.
Well, similar, but better. Anyway, this is Peter Airy. His landlady was found murdered last month in Peterborough and he's since disappeared. Carol Evans had been repeatedly battered about the head and then hidden in her garden shed. Peter's 27, 6'2", and changes his hair colour from black to blonde to brown, well, to anything you tell us. We really need to know where he is. Please call us here in the studio or 01733 424 390.
Did you serve on the aircraft carrier HMS Illustrious during a worldwide exercise known as Global 86? And in particular, did you know rating Simon Parkes? 15 years ago, Simon went ashore in Gibraltar. He visited various bars, including possibly the Hole in the Wall, and was dropped off by taxi outside South Barracks, which was occupied by the Queen's Regiment. This was the last time that Simon was ever seen. If you were with him, you saw him, or you knew him, please call us. One of his shipmates was Alan Grimson, who's serving life for the murder of 2 men, and there are concerns now over what might have happened to Simon. Call the incident room in Portsmouth on 02392 899 065 or the Royal Gibraltar Police Major Incident Room on 00350 425 34.
Coming up, the robber described as so ugly that we had problems finding an actor to play him, and the man who's tricked pensioners out of thousands claiming to have won the lottery. Keep watching, please. Now, I've never made an appeal like the next one, where the victim's family is no longer interested in a prosecution. They just want to know what happened. It's about a murder, but it's over 30 years ago, and the killers were probably children at the time. All we're hoping for now is that one of them, just one, as a grown-up, will have the courage and the decency to phone in. You may recall these scenes. This is from Crimewatch just over a year ago.
What's the matter, Kim? Why are you home?
I don't remember very much before, and I don't remember very much after, but I do remember that incident. Unexpectedly, my father came home, and he was very upset. Very, very upset. I remember him opening the door to our lounge and just basically falling into my mother's arms.
Ken told me that Keith had been found on the past, and I said yes, well, he was going to Woodingdean, and that was the beginning of the rest of our life.
The year was 1967. Keith Lyon was 12 from Ovingdean near Brighton in Sussex. On a Saturday afternoon, wearing a grammar school tie and with 4 shillings in his pocket, Keith set off across the Sussex Downs towards the shops.
It was a frenzied and vicious attack. Those are the words of a senior detective.
Keith had been stabbed 13 times, and it all made front-page news.
A painstaking inch-by-inch search of these vast, fallow farm fields behind me, looking for clues and for the
But the most important witnesses never came forward, a group of boys who were scuffling on the downs. When we first showed this reconstruction, we had 80 calls, but none from the boys themselves. They'd now be in their late 40s or early 50s. So too would their friends from 30 years ago, some of whom half-heartedly tried to help at the time. Now, please do the right thing. Tell us who it was and why.
Somehow my life has been held in a kind of limbo from the day he died until the present day. Whoever did this murdered my brother and took away my childhood. And I can honestly say I haven't had a happy day, a happy, complete day in my life.
As I say, family just want to know what happened. Please come forward if you were there. Please put this to rest. Just call Crimewatch on the free call number 0500 600 600. And incidentally, there's a £10,000 reward for any information that finally resolves this case.
We see a lot of courage on this programme from the police and from the public. But the old lady you're about to see is really something out of the ordinary.
I said to him, "If you touch me again, I'll bite you." And then I saw his lip hanging down, his lower lip, and I couldn't resist the temptation, so I bit it.
Vera Stevens lives in Crawley in West Sussex in a quiet block of flats. On April Fool's Day, she had an unexpected visitor.
There was a ring on the bell, and a high-pitched voice said, "It's Yvonne." Well, unfortunately, it was April the 1st. And I have a niece who often comes at about 4 o'clock on a Sunday. So thinking it was my niece mucking about, as she's that type, foolishly I opened the door, and there he was, and out came his fist. Straight out. But no change in his face was just blank. He hit me in the face and punched me several times. Then he pushed me backwards into the bathroom. I could hear him opening his zip. He didn't say a word. He didn't make a sound, not even when he was... he didn't even breathe deeply when he was masturbating or anything. He didn't make a sound at all. He pushed me over, and I was leaning over the bath. So I thought, well, how can I stop him? I can't possibly fight him. So I said, "Look, I'm 84, I've got a bad heart, and if anything happens to me, you're going to be in terrible trouble." And I said, "If you touch me again, I'll bite you." And I bit and bit. He stood there and let me. He put up with it for 10 to 20 seconds. I couldn't believe it. And then he pulled himself away, picked up his bag, which was on the floor, a white shopping bag, and walked out. I didn't think I was very injured. I knew that I'd been punched a number of times and there was blood running down my face, but I didn't really feel terrible. But the police insisted that I ought to go to hospital. So I behaved myself and did as he said.
The man who did this to Vera will have had a very bruised lip for at least the first week of April. He's stocky, round-faced with crooked teeth and short, 5'2" to 5'5", late teens to early 20s. He was wearing a beige or grey fleece top with dark zip-fly trousers and carrying a fairly full white carrier bag. He's probably local, unless perhaps you've seen him on the Crawley train.
I wasn't so angry with him as sorry for him, really, I think. That he should be so stupid. Or so cruel.
What a brave woman. Surely someone has an idea who he is. He's short, crooked teeth, and that bruised lip that took a week or so to heal. It'd be very hard to explain. 0500 600 600 or 0845 60 70 999, and there's a £5,000 reward. Meantime, here are our resident police officers again, Jeremy Payne and Jackie Hames.
These three men are all wanted for serious sex offences against children. Simon Evans is incredibly tall at 6'10", and he likes to wear country and western clothes. He's got a Derbyshire accent and sometimes has a moustache. Next we have Glenn Kenyon. He's a mere 6 foot. He's got a Yorkshire accent, is a pigeon fancier, and could be doing stonemasonry or casual building work. Now please don't approach him. He's known to carry a knife. Finally, Michael Matthews is the shortest of this group, a fairly average 5'8". He uses other names including Folds, Knight and Cash, and he may have a blue 4-wheel drive car. 0500 600 600 on all three of these faces.
We don't have the heights of these next three, just faces. Now they're pictured at a match in Bristol where a penalty awarded against Millwall prompted a wave of violence and 20 people were injured. Tell us who they are. 01275 816 740.
Somewhere around Dartford and Gravesend, the Medway towns in Kent, there's a serial sex offender whom we need to catch tonight. And according to one of his victims, this E-fit is a very good likeness. He's short for a man, he has an East European accent, and he has a very distinctive odour.
The attacker smelt of aftershave. Really strong smell of aftershave. And it was a little while after that I went out one evening and someone walked past with the same smell of that aftershave on. It did make me jumpy, as if the person was standing there, and I did feel as if I was standing there being watched.
He's about 5'5". His East European accent is quite strong, and he's worn an orange puffer jacket for 2 of his attacks. Now, we're not sure if he has a car, but if he does, it might be a red hatchback like a Ford Fiesta.
I was a carer. I've had to give that job up, which I loved very much. I can no longer work out in the community because I don't feel safe. Because I know that person's still out there.
Now, we think he's attacked other women who haven't felt able to report it. I can't tell you how important it is to let us know and stop him attacking someone else. 01474 565 167. And if you've been a victim of a crime and would like to talk to someone in confidence, please call the victim support line on 0845 30 30 900.
Here's a chance to earn some money. If you can help us catch 2 killers in Newcastle upon Tyne, you could be in line for a reward of up to £25,000.
We start this evening on Tyneside with what's been described as a barbaric and brutal murder.
Peter Beaumont Gowling cut quite a figure in Newcastle upon Tyne. He ran a lot of businesses, not all within the law, and he'd just come out of prison after a long sentence for money laundering. Peter lived with his girlfriend Teresa in Osborne Road in Jesmond. On Valentine's Day, she left him in the flat while she went shopping.
Peter was a big softy and a gentleman. He's one of these sort of old school gentlemen. Always made sure your glass was poured, always light your cigarette, get your coat ready. Just a really nice, kind guy.
Peter met a prison friend for an early lunch and seemed perfectly relaxed. After that, he sauntered home, and at 2 o'clock he rang to get a hair appointment. Then somebody came to the door. He was shot in the chest, and as he turned to get away, he was shot several more times in the back and in the head.
I was looking out of the window. Around about 2 o'clock, I saw 2 hooded guys running out of our flats in the direction of the New Kent Hotel.
The 2 men then ran past the number 80 bus, which had pulled up opposite the flats. From Osborne Road, they ran past a CCTV camera on Sanderson Road and were quickly followed by 2 vans. Do you remember seeing these 2 men running? We also need to rule out the white and blue transits.
You would come to terms with it more. If you'd had an illness, you can sort of cope with it better. But to think someone can just go in the middle of the day and do that to someone, it's horrible.
Derek Story, a huge reward for this, £25,000 or up to that. Why so big? What are you hoping for?
Well, Peter was very well known in the Newcastle upon Tyne area in the restaurant trade. He was an extrovert, larger-than-life character. He had a very wide circle of friends, and unfortunately, as is evidenced by what has happened to him, he also attracted some enemies. We know that he did deplore violence, and he was the type of man who would indeed walk away from any form of confrontation.
Really, so we got into trouble with the law. That was no problem for him, but he wasn't a violent man at all?
He certainly was not, no.
OK, and people out there, because he was such a colourful man, would have been talking about this, you're pretty sure?
Well, exactly, yes. I mean, we know that you cannot put any financial figure on the value of a human life, but we believe that the reward on offer, which is up to £25,000, for information leading to the conviction of his killers, is an incentive for a person or persons to come forward with that information.
It certainly is. It's a big incentive. It's a big reward. It's an easy call, and it's a free number, 0500 600 600. Or if you want the incident room, that's 01 661 872 555. And if the lines are busy here, and incidentally a good way to collect an anonymous reward is to try Crime Stoppers. There's a procedure through Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111.
The phones were very quiet when we started out this evening, but I'm glad to say they're busy now. We've had some very good information coming in. Remember the fire brigade hoax of that boy who keeps ringing 999? Well, we've had the same name twice now. We've also had a name for the assault, if you remember the assault on that very brave 84-year-old great-granny. We've had one name on that now. And also Keith Lyon, the 34-year-old murder of Keith Lyon, the schoolboy. We've had some names coming in on that. Obviously, that's a very old case, but any information we can get on that is good to hear. In this next case, there are two robbers, and the witnesses say one of them is so ugly. Someone is sure to recognise him.
As I was pulling in, noticed two guys on the drive, which I wasn't expecting anybody. The guys were sort of standing back, looking a bit shifty, I suppose. They started walking over to me, looking around.
Hello, can I help you?
Looking for Miss Smith, Gills Hill, about some building work.
No, I think you must have the wrong...
Get out of the car!
As the guy reached across me, I tried to bite into his hand.
Get out of the car!
Get out! Right.
And I was shouting about my kids. And they just said, leave the kids, because I wanted to bring the children in the house.
Where's the children?
Yes, in the bedroom.
Where? Come on, hurry up! Get on the floor! Where's the camera?
I was also very aware that my children were still outside in the car.
Get up! Where's the video camera? Hurry up! Come on!
She was so frantic about the children, she kept saying she had to get them.
When they'd finished taking what they wanted from the house, they instructed me to go and bring the children in from the car. I went out and got my youngest. Meanwhile, the guy had run around the other side of the car and I tried to take my middle child out.
Be careful with her.
Can't get her out.
I didn't discover till later. It was actually, he'd used a knife to cut his seatbelt. When I found this out, it was obviously very distressing that, my poor child might have seen a knife and, obviously worried that, you never know, again, it goes through your mind what could have happened.
Let's go!
It does make you want to stay at home and not get out. It makes you very, very cross, really, very angry that someone has invaded your privacy. I mean, I'm a normal person going about my normal daily life.
That was terrifying for the mother. But thankfully, her children are none the worse for it. We always try to get actors who look exactly like our suspects, but in this case it was hard as he was just so ugly. He had a broken nose, squinty eyes, and was missing 2 front teeth. Call us in the studio or 01707 33 55 00.
Coming up, 2 men caught on camera who stole from an old people's home, and the murder that 6 months on has no suspect, no motives, and precious few clues. But first, an 18-year-old in South London travelling to meet a friend in Norwood. Instead, she encountered someone who everyone in South London will want kept off the streets.
How'd you feel? Me like it. You could have been my girlfriend. Forget about the boyfriend, huh? My son that. Him name Lachey Amari Rose. Him only 3.5 months. Him big for him age, eh?
I've never ever thought about myself being raped. I mean, I just hear it on the TV, watch it on the bill. I've never ever thought about it happening to me.
Hi Russ, I'm here now. Outside Max's chicken takeaway place. Yeah, by the Jet Garage. Are you going to be here? Because it's going to rain soon. I'll wait here. Yeah, see you in a bit then. Bye.
One girl, you want one?
Don't need chocolate.
So what you like?
Bonbons.
Me I go buy you some, sweetie.
No, thank you.
How about to drink?
No, thanks.
My name Michael. You turn out well, you look good, you know.
Look, I've got a boyfriend.
I'm not hearing about no boyfriend. We're talking about me and you. What?
Russ, where are you? Fine. I'll keep walking and meet you then. Be quick then.
When he come up to me and started talking to me, I didn't feel threatened by him.
I mean, you can't let me under your umbrella, huh? Oh, wait here, so. Wait here, it's cold, huh? Wait here, so. Me, I go from here, yeah?
It didn't occur to me that anything was going to happen because he was trying to be nice to me, telling me that how he liked me. I'm not saying I trusted him, but he didn't give off like an impression that like he's a rapist.
Hey, Tarine, come sit in your soak. It's warmer.
No. Look, I'm waiting for my friend. He'll be here any minute.
All right, we can't find him. Me have to drive you. Come now.
And he dragged me into the car like he was one of my friends. As if I was going to say, no, I don't want to go. It wasn't in a way like really forceful. When I kept saying, take me home, and he was saying, I'll take you home in a minute, and a minute had come up and he never would take me back. I'm not the type of person that will like take rubbish from anyone. And when he said,
"What, you want me to get serious now?"
When he was saying those words, it was until he started to get aggressive. Then I was scared. I knew it was going to happen. I just shut myself off from what was happening between me and this man. But I feel if I didn't shut myself off, then I would have been crying and hysterical. I just tried to like, wouldn't say be brave, but just not try to show him that like I was this little girl that he took advantage of.
Oh, well, to kiss them. Hey!
I just don't know how you can smile after something like that. If that is his girlfriend on a photo and the mother to his son, but I just feel sorry for her because like the father of a child is just like a rapist. He ain't no role model for his child or nothing.
So who is he? Some of his bottom teeth are edged in gold. He called his child Lachey Amari Rose. He called himself Michael. He said he worked as a cleaner, all of which of course may or may not be true. But we know he drives a white car, possibly a Toyota Corolla, with a D registration number which is etched into the windows. He may have done this before. There's DNA, so the wrong name is really easily ruled out. 0500 600 600 or 0208 649 2231.
A quick look at the calls I've had so far. I'm particularly interested in the whereabouts of Peter Airy. We want to speak to him about the murder of Carol Evans in Peterborough last month. Well, so far he's been spotted in Bradford, Glasgow, Romford, East London, North London and Chester so far tonight. So if you know where he is tonight, please still keep ringing in. We need to know where he is now.
That does sound promising. Now, I've just had an update from the officer and we're already getting calls from seamen who knew Simon Parks on HMS Illustrious, including this Lieutenant Commander. Thanks for your call. Simon's disappearance was so sudden, even the Christmas presents he'd bought were simply left in his cabin. He was only 18 when last seen. His friends and family have waited so long to bring this to a close. If you remember Simon during the Global 86 exercise on HMS Illustrious, then please ring.
And help us to find these two who target old people living in sheltered housing. After conning their way in, they steal everything that they can lay their hands on. Here they are in Braintree, Essex. One has a local accent, the other sounded Irish. Let's give them a stay in my sheltered housing accommodation. 01376 551 312.
A first for Crimewatch. Until last month, we've never, ever conducted an appeal that got no responses at all. So we're going to have another go. Did you know Steve Jindu? Steve lived a nomadic lifestyle. His last known address was in Heston, near Heathrow Airport, where he often worked as a lorry and forklift truck driver. On a Saturday night last November, he disappeared. His body was later found with his throat cut on Horsenden Hill, Greenford. Police need to speak to anyone who knew Steve. Someone who knew him well is his sister, Lorna. Lorna, thanks for coming in. I know this is an ordeal for you. Just tell us a little bit about what Steve was like.
He meant everything to us. He was wonderful and kind. Everything you could want in a brother. Everything.
It was a violent and aggressive murder. Have you any idea why anyone would want to do that to Steve?
Don't know. We're at a loss. That's why I'm here. I'm here to appeal to the public for help. I hope someone out there knows whoever did this, and I hope that they call to help us.
Because the Steve you know was quiet, he was a gentleman, he used to get up to all kinds of mischief when you were kids together.
Yeah, I mean, he was wonderful. He was wonderful. We can't understand why anybody would do this. That's why we need help. Just to find the person who did this, to stop them, prevent somebody else from losing their brother or their son.
Now, because Steve was a pretty quiet kind of guy, there are other aspects to his life that perhaps he didn't tell you about, you didn't know about. That's the kind of information you want to hear tonight, isn't it?
Yes. Any bit of information could help us. Help find whoever did this to him. He didn't deserve to die. He was everything you wanted in a brother and son.
We didn't get any responses last time, so we're going to try again tonight and see whatever information we can get. How much will it mean to you if we can finally solve this?
I mean, we will never ever recover from what they've done to us. Whoever was responsible for my brother's murder, if they knew Steve as we knew him, they knew he didn't deserve to die. And I hope they find them.
Okay,
I
Lorna.
hope they find them.
Well, thanks very much for coming in, Lorna. Let's see what we can do tonight. It's a free call here, so please ring us, or you can call the incident room on 020 8247 7821. Let's try and get a response tonight.
A rather happier theme now, at least it should be a much happier theme. It's what every grandma wants to hear. Hi Nan, I've won the national lottery. But beware, somebody in East London has been calling people by the dozen, pretending to be a relative and telling them that he has won. Now, most people don't fall for this. They put the phone down straight away as they don't know who it is that's calling. But some elderly people are confused and think that he really is a relative. And he then says he needs cash until his prize winner's cheque arrives. Well, Granny naturally obliges, and he sends a cab to pick up the money. If you're a minicab driver in East London, you've ever been asked to go and get an old person's envelope from an old person's home, and you think it is suspicious, you think it contained money, or if you're suspicious, particularly in the future, please go straight to a police station. At least 68 old people, and probably many, many more, have been tricked out of their savings. 0500 600 600 or 020 8345 3117.
We'll be back at 20 to 11 to tell you what's going on. Maybe we'll have a rest by then.
Thank you for watching. Thank you very much for helping to cut crime. Don't have nightmares. Do sleep well. Good night.
Good night.
Challenge the Leader next on BBC One, a Question Time special.